All right, man. So they basically saying that it's going to take a second or third round pick to poach away Chase Young or Montez Sweat from the Washington Commanders. Let's talk about it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And subscribe button is the bell icon button. Check out Detroit Lions top playlist for more videos like this. So my thing is this. I don't think Chase Young is worth a second. It's really not a third because, you know, he is not under contract next year. So only thing you really can do is get a contract, give him a contract, or tag him. And that tag probably gonna be expensive. Now I'm not sure about Montez Sweat's situation. I think he got a couple more years on his contract. I could be wrong. I think he's accumulated 5 sacks this season, but I really don't think Chase Young, you know, with all the stuff going on in Washington, I mean, you like the talent. That's the guy a lot of Lions fans wanted. We fell a little bit short. Had to settle for Jeff Okudah, unfortunately. But Okudah having a really good year in Atlanta, FYI. You know, he's bouncing back in Atlanta. Everybody talk about DeAndre Swift, but Jeff Okudah's down there balling in Atlanta. So, maybe I'm thinking about giving a third for Montez Sweat. I mean, you're a good athlete, you know, especially if you got a year or two left on this contract. I liked him coming out of Texas A&M, I believe it was. You know, athletic, you know, already 5 sacks in 6-7 games. They do have a really talented defensive line. Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Chase Young. He playing with a lot of talent. I mean, you book in Sweat with Aiden Hutchinson, you like it. Is it as sexy as Chase Young? No. Is it as sexy as Brian Burns? No. But you know, for the most part, it's a start. It's a start. So, it's a start. But I just think that I just think that, you know, I like them coming out, you know, coming out of Texas A&M a lot. In the league, he looked to be solid, you know, really good athlete, athletic, speed. I wanted the Lions to draft him. I think they took Frank Ragnow over him or something like that. I could be wrong. But if he don't have no more years on this contract, dude, I'm bare minimum a fourth for him or Chase Young. I mean, they don't have no. What's your leverage? You know, you're gonna tag him next year. You're gonna extend him. You gotta pay him. So I'm willing to say a fourth to get either one of them, really. And maybe I think about a third. You know, if I really want Chase Young, I think about a third in a scenario or whatever, man. But second is super duper high. Second, you kind of thinking like, I might as well go out there and get Brian Burns. Because guess what? You got to pay Brian Burns too next year. But, you know, he's a fully healthy, fully functionable defensive end. He's big time. You know, proven, you know, 4'5'9" guy. You know, Chase is a really good, you know, athlete too, but he had the issues, and, you know, the beef with the Washington Commanders pretty much happened because he went to he went to a camp and started training without them medically clearing him, and he re-injured himself. So, yeah, he re-injured himself. So, and that's where the disconnect and the beef started there, you know. Then they declined his 5th year option. So now it's just tag him or pay him. You know, and what's so funny about it, he kind of like from the area too. You think he from somewhere in Maryland. So you think he'd be trying to fly straight and stuff of that nature, but you know, it is what it is. But out of the two, I mean, if I had to be more expensive, I'm gonna be more expensive and pay for Montez Sweat. If I had to pick one. But just from if I know that Chase Young gonna be healthy and I can retain his rights, I take Chase Young all day. But you know, I'm about to give up all that for Chase Young. He get re-injured, or he not a happy camper here, or you know, he re-injured a knee and then he want to do what he want to do. You know, some character concerns there involving him. You know, there's some character concerns. So I mean, you know, that pretty much, you know, had to be said. But, you know, nonetheless, I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, it's interesting, you know, but, you know, I don't know if they willing to trade Jonathan Allen. It may not seem like it. Seem like he a little bit fed up. Might be a little bit more. Maybe they thinking first round pick for a position that's scarce around the league, an interior defensive tackle. And that's why a lot of people wanted that kid Jalen Carter out of Georgia. You know, because it's a position of need, and it's really, you know, a lot of teams need that position around the National Football League. You know, but between the two, if I can get a healthy Chase Young that's got his head on straight, yeah, I'll pay. But I don't know about second round. Maybe I would consider a third, but I'm thinking really his value is around the fourth round, given his contract situation. That's just how I'm looking at it. And I definitely could be looking at it, obviously, from a biased Lions standpoint of view, or just from a third party standpoint of view, or from a view of another team. I don't know who won't be willing to give a second round pickup for a guy coming off a knee injury, and then he rebellious as well too. I don't know too many people willing to get that up. I don't know, but you know, for the most part, to each his own. To each his own. But me personally, I just feel that and that's some expensive prices for both of them. Real talk. Some real expensive prices. I don't even know if I'll be willing to pay for all that. That's just me. But if I'm gonna go out there and say second round pick, I'm gonna go get Brian Burns. That's just my opinion. If I'm gonna pay that much, you know, because you ain't gonna think about giving the first for Brian Burns, and because Brian Burns, his contract is dead. His contract is over after this year, so you got to tag him and pay him. So anytime you got a situation where you got to tag a defensive end with a number so high, or you got to go to a contract, since you taking a risk, so you really in win now mode, because you don't even know if you're gonna be able to retain their rights. And then they got all the leverage over you because you gave up an asset, and now you got to pay them. That's why they were saying Saquon Barkley should push for a trade, because somebody give up a real asset for him, they're gonna be more likely wanting to pay him to keep him. So. But hey, check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist for more videos like this. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.